Hello, hello, everybody. Hi, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and I'm a little bit late, so I apologize for that. But hopefully, you're finding me now, and I'll give just a moment to see who we have jumping on here. Hi, everybody. I'm going to take just a moment myself and share this out. So I ask you to do the same as you're coming in. Hi, Robert Dosa, Mary, Margaret Ellen. Hi, Charlie McFarland. How are you doing, my friend? I'm just taking a moment here to share the live and let people know that I'm on, and then we'll get to doing some talking. How's everybody doing today? So good to see all of you on here. Who else came on? Alan Borgen, hello. Hi, Skip Jones, Karen Rogowski. Okay, so I'm putting my phone down so I can focus on you guys. Hi, Christine Young. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you on here, honey. So, how are we doing? It's Tuesday. It has been quite the day, let me tell you. So, trying to just shift my energy here and focus on transformation. That's why we're here, right? We're all here to support each other, to really get into what it means, what it means to transform ourselves. So, when we left off yesterday, I asked you all to take some time to do the breathing exercise that I showed yesterday, to take a breath in and listen, and then release that breath and listen, and then see what you get. What did you tell yourself that you wanted to work on? What did you want to focus on in your transformation journey? This is all about you. It's not about me. Hi, Val Meyer. And Val is on here. Val, I love you so much, honey. I talked to Val today, and she has asked us to please keep her daughter in our prayers. She is in the hospital and has been for a little while, and she needs help with prayers and energy healing sent to her. So please do that for our darling friend Val. Who else is on? Amber, hi, and Michelle. It's so good to see all of you on here with us today. Oh my goodness. And so we're working on transformation. That's what this show is all about. We are changing every day. And when we know what we're working toward, it does make a difference. Like I said yesterday, and Gizzy's confirming it, I didn't know when I started my transformation journey. I didn't know what all was going to change. I didn't know in what manner it was going to change. I just knew that things had to change. So I set about this journey and working on the overall, working on the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional, because that's what it takes to really transform. You can't leave out any of those areas. And I'm just looking to see who all's coming in. Isabella, hello and welcome. Gerald Ann, hello, my darling. Thank you for being with us today. So awesome, Margaret Ellen. You're heading in the right direction for you. I love hearing that. So that's what you got when you sat with yourself and said, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What am I doing with these changes that I'm making and this transformation that I'm making? And Giz is going to be very vocal today. He woke up a little while ago, probably about 20 minutes or so, and he has just been talking ever since. And I'm not sure yet what his message is that he's trying to get across to me, but he certainly wants to say something. I know that. Hello, Sharon. Okay, so yesterday when we talked, yes, I know you remember that, Gizmo. Yesterday when we talked about how important it is to listen, how important it is to just sit in those moments, taking those breaths in from your heart space. If you touch your heart, that brings your focus and your awareness there, because we always want to come from a heart-centered place, especially when we're listening to something as important as what's going on with my life. What do I need to work on? What do I need to change? So those of you that are coming on, hello and welcome. This is our third week of talking about transformation, of talking about how we can make those all important changes, and what are some of the gizmos, some of the tools that we can use and work with to do that. So yesterday we talked, like I said, about connecting with the oneness, really getting into that energy that all of us are the same. We're all one. And I just want to know, how did you all feel when you sat in that quiet time and just reflected and did the connection, when you did the breathing and you said, I am you and you are me, and we are all in this together. We're all one. And that includes you, Gizmo. We're not going to leave him out, that's for sure. So I just want to hear from you in your comments, if you were able to find time to just sit and focus and let spirit talk to you. Just breathe in and listen to whatever comes through for you. And today we're going to talk about, as you're typing in your comments to me, we're going to talk about the importance of silence. If you're listening, then you're not talking, right? We can't do the same at the same time. Sometimes we think we can, we think, oh, I hear what you're saying, but I'm still going. The words are still coming out of my mouth, but I hear what you're saying. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, because what happens is when we hear somebody talk, we need time to process that, to see, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about what they said? And it's not that you're thinking, what you want to respond to them, because that's what happens a lot of times, isn't it? Somebody will say something and you're like, oh, what do I want to say to that or say about that? But if we take the time for silence when somebody says something to us, then we can sit with what they say and we can feel how it feels inside of us. What emotions come up? What is there inside of you that is accepting of what they have to say? Or maybe you just totally say, no, I don't agree with that. And it's okay to not agree with everything that's said to you, but take a moment before you just automatically blurt out, no, I don't, no, no, no. Take a moment to really think about it, to process it. And how many times when we are having an interaction with somebody, do we not get that opportunity? Maybe you don't give the opportunity either. If you say something to somebody, you expect them to immediately reply, right? But if we're going to have a very open communication with someone else, there needs to be a processing that happens. It's not just going to be, I say this and then you say that and I say this. You need time to process it, to really think about how you feel. Because when we don't do that, when we just go back and forth, we may say something that it's not really what we're feeling or what we want to say. And how many times has this gotten us into trouble, right? How many times have arguments ensued, or worse, blaming, looking outside of ourselves, because that's really what happens there. We're looking outside of ourselves instead of looking inside and saying, oh, what do I feel about that? What do I want to say about that? And, there's many times that so many misunderstandings could be cleared up if we just took that time for silence. But what happens? What is it? What do you think it is that stops us from doing that? What stops us from taking the time we need to process our thoughts and to think about what it is we want to say or how we want to respond? I want to hear what your thoughts are on that. What do you think stops you when somebody's talking to you? Uh, why don't you take the time, and what is it stopping you from taking the time to sit with it for a moment and see how you feel? So let's see what your thoughts are. I want this to be interactive today. And I want to say hello to Larry and to Deb. Hi, Deb. I'm so glad you joined us. And Lou Joseph, hello. So I'm just going to scroll back and see if anybody's sharing anything here before we go on. And I will share with you what came to me and what my thoughts are on this subject. We're talking about silence for those of you that just came in, and especially silence in regard to processing thoughts when we're having a conversation, when we're having an interaction with another person. What is it that stops us from taking the time we need? We need time to say, oh, how do I feel about that? And many times the other person doesn't give us that respect, especially if it's in an argument situation or where there's maybe heated emotions. So what my thoughts are is we're afraid that that person will see our silence as maybe anger, or maybe indecision, or maybe seeing it that we don't want to say something. So what you can do, if you're thinking that might be the case, what you can do is say, let me think about that for a minute. Yes, Margaret Ellen, afraid of saying too much, afraid of revealing maybe. Anger, you or I think I know better. Yeah, Sabrina, thank you. And hello, Sabrina, welcome. Uh, So exactly, we think that we just have to respond like that. We have to respond immediately when somebody says something to us. And I'm talking here about real interaction, real communication, not the the social type of where you're just out having fun and you're just having a social conversation. We're talking about transformation, and to be able to transform, we have to really learn how to communicate with others so that we can tell them what we're feeling, what we want in our life, what we desire, using our voice, using this throat chakra that is the center of our communication, feeling into our solar plexus to know that we're worthy and we're deserving of being heard. So knowing all those things, knowing that you do deserve to be listened to, why wouldn't you take that time? You can just ask the person that you're talking with, can I just have a moment here? Can I have a moment to see how this is sitting inside of me? Can I just take just a short minute to think about how I feel about that? And then I will talk, but let them know that you're not just being quiet because you don't have anything to say, but that you really need that time to process what the interaction is that you want to get across on your end. What is it that you want to say? And if we really take that time, like we did yesterday, breathe in and listen, breathe out and listen. When we listen, our heart is going to talk to us, and our heart will never lie to us. Our heart is always going to come out with the truth. Whatever the truth is in our lives, whatever my truth is, it's going to tell me what it's thinking. So our heart does have a brain. We've learned this. The scientists have now taught us this. So with that brain that's in your heart, that's where you're looking to for your response. You're looking to your heart and you're asking, what do I think about what this person just said to me? How do I feel about it? And how do I want to word what I want to say to them? How do I want to put those words together? And how do I want to speak it out loud? Do I want to put a lot of emotion into it? Do I want to be calm? Do I want to be passionate and let them know just how I feel, how passionately I feel about it? So there's a lot that goes on when we're talking about interacting with others in that healthy way of communicating. And I see Karen Palmer just jumped on. Hi, my darling Karen, and Heather Nicole. I love you all so much. And I want to see what Margaret Ellen's comment is. Thinking about something that means something to the other isn't instant. It's choosing your words carefully. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Margaret Ellen. I'm going to put that up here for us all to see it. Because when we're having that conversation with somebody, especially if it's a very important conversation, and if you're having a difference of opinion or you're wanting to be heard about how you feel about certain things, then isn't that something that's really important to get your point across? It's really important to be heard in the way you want to be heard instead of just in the heat of the moment coming out with the words that, it may not be a true reflection of how you're really feeling about the situation. So the more you can process it, the more you can take that moment to just sit with it. And sometimes, it makes us uncomfortable ourselves to sit with silence. But if you've ever listened to or read Eckhart Tolle's work, he has a book called Stillness Speaks. And I love that book. I love it because when we sit in the stillness and we're not forcing anything out of ourselves, we're just sitting and listening. Those are our greatest lessons. We will be taught and inspired with the greatest lessons of our lives in those moments of stillness, in those moments when we're taking that time we really need to go internally to breathe in and listen. I want you all to do that exercise every day this week. Every day. Just take a couple of minutes out of your day and just sit with you and breathe in deeply. You can hold on to your heart space if you want. I like doing that because it really brings in the essence of heart energy and centers you into your heart. So when you breathe in and then listen, and then breathe back out and listen, and then you can ask the question of your heart, how do I really feel about this situation? What is it inside of me that's either agreeing or disagreeing or, just wanting to respond to what I'm hearing? What is that inside of me? So when you ask that question of yourself, you're going to find the answer. We have all the answers we need to everything inside of us. That's why I say don't look to the outside world for confirmations and affirmations and, don't look to the outside world to tell you you're beautiful. Look inside and you will see that you are beautiful and you are deserving and you are worthy of being heard, of being seen, and of making a difference in the world, because that's what happens once you open up to who you are and what you're all about. Just like our beautiful Margaret Ellen, she's published 2 books now and just sharing from her heart space, because I have watched her as she has opened up and she's gone inside. She's done that inner work to see what it is that needs to come out of her, what needs to be spoken, and it has come forth from her. Our wonderful Robert Dosa, that's usually on here every day, he's published a book now, and it was the words that had to be said. This is what happens when we take the time for reflection. It is so important, so very important, to know what we are feeling inside. And how else are we going to know without asking, without taking the moments of silence that are needed to really listen to ourselves. A lot of times, we go on to YouTube, we go on to other people's lives, and we want to know, okay, what are they teaching? What are they saying? What are they all about? Take the time to go to your own life. Go to the live inside of you and say, what do I feel today? What do I need to get out of me? What do I need to bring forth and give birth to in the world? When you sit in your silent moments, you're going to find it. You're going to find that voice, and that voice is going to want to be heard. So you might even start having some symptoms here in this throat chakra area because your voice is just pounding to get out. It's like, I want to say this. I want to talk. I want to speak. So there may be some tightness. There may be some throat clearing that happens. That's your voice bubbling up and wanting to come out into the world. But as long as you are looking outside of yourself for answers, that voice is not going to be an authentic voice. When you look inside, when you take the time and go onto your heart space and say, how do I really feel about that? How do I feel? What are my thoughts on this? And why? You can ask why. Why do I feel this way? Maybe something has upset you that somebody said or something that's been done, and you really get emotional about it. Maybe you get upset. Ask yourself, why? Why did that upset me? What is it inside of me that's creating that energy of upset? And then go back to breathing and listening and saying those important words, I am you and you are me. So like we talked about yesterday, if somebody has said or done something and you're upset about it, what is it inside of you that needs to be processed? What is it, maybe something that needs to be released that's in there, so that then you can look at it and say, oh, now I understand. Now I know why. Now I know why I had that kind of reaction when that happened. Oh, you're planning on writing some more, Robert Dosa. Awesome. And hi, Angie. Glad that you're here with us today. All right. So your gizmo for the day. Are you all ready for this? Your gizmo is an affirmation. And the affirmation is, in finding my inner silence, I find my spiritual presence. In finding, somebody can type this if you want to, please. In finding my inner silence, I find my spiritual presence. That presence that's inside of me, that presence that so wants to be heard and seen. We all have it. We all have spirit in these human bodies. And that spirit is here on a path. It's here to be seen. It's not here to be shut down and pushed down and quieted. It's here to be heard. It's here to let the light shine. Okay. In finding my inner silence, I find my spiritual presence. That presence that is just so beautiful and so powerful inside of us. And we become aware of our emotions and our thoughts when we do this. We can never stop our thoughts, but when we silence that inner chatter that happens, we're constantly like having thoughts run back and forth. So if we silence that for a moment and say, how do I feel about what I just heard? Instead of just immediately, giving out this response, you're going to find what your emotions are about it. And you're going to find that thought process that made you feel a certain way about what was said. In finding my inner silence, I'm finding my spiritual presence. Thank you, Margaret Ellen. And thank you, I believe it was, who else that did that as well? There were a couple of you that typed it in for me, and thank you. line thank you for doing that. And I thank all of you for being with me today. You know, I love coming on here. And if you have missed any of the transformation talks, maybe you're new here, or maybe you haven't heard many of them, they are all on YouTube. I've taken the time to upload them there. And we started out the journey asking for a commitment. And I asked you yesterday, are you still committed? Are you all in with your transformation process? Not mine. My journey started a few months ago, 5 months ago, as a matter of fact, and I started changing everything, everything. You know, I started taking more time to look at my diet, more time to look at exercising, more time to look at my spiritual practices and, you know, and my emotional well-being, all of that. There have been people that have left my life in this time frame, you know, people that have just fallen away from being in communication with me. And I'm okay with that because I know that the people that are in my life are the people that are meant to be in my life. And I have a lot of support on this journey. And that's why I do this program every day, is so we can all support each other. So as you're going on your journey, and Robert Dosa, I know yours is beginning very soon. I'm waiting for that 15th to happen so we can all start joining in and supporting what you're going to be doing, Robert, in your transformation. And I know many of you have committed to doing a transformation process, and whatever it may be, we're here to support you. We're here to lift you up. And with these talks every day, I want them to be interactive. I want you to share what's happening in your life. That's why I always ask, what's happening with your transformation journey? And I want to know, I want to hear, because I want to know how I can better support you and maybe what you want to hear more about. I'm going to have my friend Gerald Ann is going to be on with me probably for several of these talks as we look at the importance of nutrition. You know, we can't keep feeding these human bodies the same thing we've always fed them and expect for our energy to shift and change with the changes that are happening. So Gerald Ann will share with you some of the things that she shared with me when I started the journey, you know, and talking about how important it is to look at foods that really feed us instead of foods that fill a spot. So we'll be talking about that for sure really soon. And there's many other topics. You know, from the very beginning, I've always asked, what do you want? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to hear? So join me again tomorrow. Hi, Esther. Thank you for coming on. And I wanted to see what Margaret Allen's comment is. We all go through this in our lives, and moving ahead as I am too. Yeah, we're all changing. We're all shifting. We all are transforming every day. So when we can do it together and support each other in that all important way of just sharing love with each other, listening to that small inner voice that says, I am you and you are me. And how can we together work through anything that shows up in our transformation progress and the transformation process? That's what it's all about, is helping each other and being there. And yes, Esther, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I need an Esther hug. So I'll be with Esther tomorrow. I'm going to leave with one message. We are really a family here. We really have become that, a spiritual soul family. And I love seeing all of you on here. And I know we support each other every day. Well, one of our dear soul sisters, Linda Lemieux, I didn't see her come on today. She did experience the loss of a brother-in-law today. So let's please all join together and send prayers her way, send healing energy her way. And just, you know, if you want to send her a message and just say, I love you, I'm lifting you up, and I care about you. because, no matter how much we prepare for someone's passing from their human body, it still hits us. We're still left with the knowledge that we're never going to be able to pick up the phone and call that person again or go to where they were and visit them again. So just lift Linda up today in your prayers and send her a message of love. Let her know you're thinking about her and her husband at this time. And I saw Michael Sexton come on. Hi, Michael. I miss you. I miss you and Christy. And I send you so much love out to Arizona. And let's see, what else did I have here? Robert Dosa, letting go of all that doesn't serve our highest self is the best way to start the transformation process. It really is, Robert. Thank you for those words. And thank you to all of you who joined today. I'm on here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock. It's a half-hour show. So my dinger is going off that it's time to end the show. And remember your gizmo. The gizmo of the day is, in finding my inner silence, I find my spiritual presence. Find that inner silence. Take a moment to breathe in and listen. Listen to you. And then breathe out and listen and see what message comes to you. I love you all so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night, wherever you may be. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.